What if I told you that every single thing you have been taught about creating your dream life is not only wrong, but dangerously misleading? What if right now you are living inside a trap built from old beliefs that keep you small? And if you do not break free today, you may spend the rest of your life chasing shadows, never touching the reality you were meant to live. You have been conditioned to hustle, to force, to beg the universe for change. But here is the truth that no one dares to tell you. The universe is not listening to what you say. It is not moved by what you want. It is only responding to who you are being in this exact moment. Think carefully. When was the last time you visualized, affirmed, stayed positive, and yet nothing changed? That is because you were demanding a new reflection while staring into the mirror with the same old expression. You were anchored in the past while trying to call in the future. Quantum physics reveals that every version of your life already exists now. The abundant you, the confident you, the free and joyful you, all of them waiting in the field of probability. And the instant you embody that version emotionally and energetically, the field begins to reorganize around you. That is not wishful thinking. That is coherence. That is physics. But here is the threat. If you keep waiting for evidence before you feel the emotion, you will stay trapped in the same cycle until time itself runs out. If you refuse to shift your state of being now, you will repeat the same year again and again and call it a life. This is not a game. This is not a practice run. This is the only moment you will ever have. And the question is urgent. Who are you being right now? Because the field is already answering. Breathe in and tell yourself the truth. You are not stuck because life is against you. You are stuck because your body became loyal to an identity that no longer fits. The same stories replay. Opportunities feel close, then slip away. Your nervous system keeps you safe by keeping you the same. You wake up. You reach for your phone. You scroll success stories and promise today will be different. By noon, the loop tightens. How many more cycles will you surrender before you command the only lever you control now? Your state. Ancient wisdom said it, and modern labs confirm it. Attention is electricity. Emotion is magnetism. Together, they broadcast your signature. Physics names the observer effect. Neuroscience names neuroplasticity. Rehearse gratitude for a future as if it is now, and your brain fires new pathways while your body releases the chemistry of that future. Your system cannot tell the difference. Become the match before the evidence. Then the evidence arrives. Heed this warning. Delay until tomorrow, and you reinforce the old code today. Wait for proof, and you prove that you do not believe. Weeks drift, months fade, years repeat in new packaging. So we begin with a real American story. Sarah lived in New York. She did everything the book said. Vision boards on the wall, affirmations on the mirror, a smile like armor. Inside she felt small and tired. Promotions passed her. Dating felt like a hallway with locked doors. One Monday on the subway, she chose differently. She stopped asking for the future and decided to wear it. She selected a state, calm power, grateful completion. She entered the office as if the decision had already favored her. Emails were answered with presence. At lunch, she breathed with a hand on her heart and thanked life for an outcome not yet seen. Within weeks, her voice changed. Meetings shifted. A leader noticed. A project opened. A relationship warmed. Nothing was forced. She became the signal, and life tuned to her. This is not fantasy. This is alignment across mind, heart, and body. You do not chase. You allow. You do not beg. You broadcast. You do not wait. You remember who you are, and reality remembers you. Now check your own morning. Feel your posture. Hear the thoughts before the sun. Are they the voice of the future you, or echoes from the past? Decide. The window is open now, and it will not stay open. Momentum fades when ignored. Courage grows when used and weakens when postponed. I am speaking to you directly. Comment now and claim your turning point. Write these words. I am ready to break the loop. Hit like to lock it in. Not for me. For a version of you that is signaling through the screen, asking to lead. Do not confuse simplicity with weakness. Simple is powerful when done now. Stand. Roll your shoulders back. Breathe deep into your belly. Imagine a scene that proves your new life is here. Hold it. Let the feeling be the fact. This is how you shift the mirror. You are at a crossroads. The path of delay feels familiar and drains you. The path of embodiment feels unfamiliar and frees you. Choose with your body. Choose with your breath. Take one action that matches your new identity before this hour ends. This is your warning and your invitation. Ignore it and life will hand you the same lesson in new packaging. Accept it and patterns will crack. People will respond to a presence they cannot name. The field is listening. You are writing the next chapter with every emotion you allow and every thought you repeat. Begin. Now, own this minute. Anchor a new frequency and watch what rearranges in front of you. Now, so let me ask you again. When you wait tomorrow, who will be in charge? The memory of who you were or the identity you choose tonight? The mirror waits for your new expression. The future leans in to hear your answer. Who is truly creating your entire reality right now? Your consciousness is the true architect of your life. Let that sentence sink into your body. Every result you see around you right now is not an accident. It is not random. It is the direct reflection of your consciousness. The state you have been living in is the blueprint that reality has been faithfully building from. And here is the part that feels both terrifying and liberating. Nothing will change until you change who you are being. Ask yourself, have you been blaming circumstances? Have you been waiting for luck? Have you been praying for rescue while secretly doubting it will ever come? The universe is not fooled by your words. It listens to the frequency of your being. It listens to the energy behind the mask. This is where the observer effect steps in. Physics proves what mystics whispered for centuries. When an observer pays attention, the wave of probability collapses into a concrete outcome. Observation makes the invisible visible. But here is what they forget to tell you. It is not just the act of looking. It is the emotional charge you bring to what you look at. Your consciousness filters infinity into the single path you walk. Think of the mirror again. The reflection does not change until you change your expression. So why do you keep smiling on the outside while staying anchored in lack on the inside? Why do you keep affirming abundance while embodying scarcity? That contradiction is why the loop continues. Neville Goddard taught it clearly. Live in the end. Dwell mentally and emotionally in the state of the wish fulfilled, not in hope. In embodiment, Joe Dispenza translates it into neuroscience. Install the neurological hardware of a new identity. Practice the state until the brain wires it as normal. Abraham Hicks reminds you simply, you must feel it before you see it. And here is the proof you cannot ignore. Your brain and body cannot tell the difference between what you imagine vividly and what you experience physically. Gratitude for a future, as if it has already happened, fires the same circuits as gratitude for the present. The chemistry floods. The body, the signature shifts. You become a match. The field notices. So I ask you directly, who are you being right now? Are you the version of yourself who keeps waiting? Or are you the version who has decided? Because one decision changes the signal. And when the signal changes, the field reorganizes. Let us make this real with a story, you know. Oprah Winfrey, a young girl born into poverty in Mississippi, abused, dismissed. Every statistic predicted she would vanish into obscurity, but she chose differently. She shifted her inner dialogue. She refused to let circumstance define her identity. She embodied worthiness long before the world reflected it back. She became the signal of abundance and influence. Today, she is one of the most powerful women alive. That did not begin with fame or money. It began with consciousness. Her story is not meant to inspire you from a distance. It is evidence. Proof that shifting state changes destiny. Proof that inner embodiment precedes outer recognition. If she can rewrite reality from such darkness, what excuse will you hold on to? Feel the urgency in this. Every moment you delay, you are broadcasting the old code. Every day you postpone, you are choosing to remain in the same energetic architecture. Life is not waiting. It is responding right now. So I call you into action. Do not just watch this. Engage with it. Comment below these exact words. I am the architect. Declare it so your nervous system hears your voice. Hit like now to lock it into your body as action. Small physical moves carry enormous energetic weight. Do not underestimate this. The universe does not need more of your wishing. It needs the vibration of your decision, the signal of coherence, the alignment of thought and feeling. When that happens, the impossible becomes inevitable. And so I leave you with this pressing question. If consciousness is the architect, what role does the brain play as the builder? What happens inside the control center of your body when you dare to install a new identity? The answer will change the way you see your mind forever. Your brain is the tool that rebuilds reality through every single neural connection. Pause and hear that again. Your brain is not just reacting to your life, it is sculpting it. Every thought, every image, every repeated belief. Each one lays down a pathway, a groove in the circuits that becomes the road you keep walking. So let me ask you, how many times have you been trapped in a cycle of negative thinking? How many times did it feel as if your brain was replaying failure, rehearsing disappointment, memorizing fear until it became automatic? You tell yourself you want change, but inside, your brain is quietly running the same old program. This is not punishment. It is design. The brain's gift is neuroplasticity, the ability to rewire, to change, to reshape its very structure with focus and emotion. What fires together wires together. This is not poetry. This is biology. When you repeatedly activate certain thoughts and feelings, the neurons build stronger bridges. And the more they fire, the faster they travel. Soon, what once was new becomes normal. Here is the danger. If you practice anger, you wire anger. If you rehearse fear, you wire fear. If you loop doubt, your brain makes doubt automatic. But here is the miracle. The opposite is also true. Gratitude, joy, strength, confidence. Imagine them with intensity. Feel them as if real. Your brain builds that future into its very circuits. Let me show you a story. Emily, a single mother from Texas, was drowning in stress. Bills piled high, energy drained low. Her brain was addicted to worry. Every morning began with the same thought. Not enough. Not enough time, not enough money, not enough support. Until she realized she was programming her own cage. One morning, Emily made a small but radical choice. Before checking her phone, before feeding fear, she sat still, hand on her chest, and whispered gratitude, not for what was missing, but for what was already here. She thanked life for her son's laughter, for the sunrise outside the window, for the strength in her own breath. At first, it felt fake, mechanical, but she persisted. 10 minutes a day, gratitude as practice, gratitude as discipline. Within weeks, her mood shifted. Within months, her decisions sharpened. She started sketching business ideas during nap times. She launched a small service online. It grew. Clients came. Money followed. Freedom expanded. Did luck save her? No. Her brain did. By firing new patterns every morning, Emily rewired her nervous system. She rehearsed gratitude until it became her baseline. She installed abundance where scarcity once lived. Her outer life began to reflect the inner blueprint. Do you see the pattern? The brain is not your enemy. It is a builder waiting for instructions. It does not care what you wire. It will strengthen whatever you feed. If you choose fear, you wire fear. If you choose gratitude, you wire gratitude. If you choose possibility, you wire possibility. So the question is not whether your brain is programming you. The question is, who is holding the pen? Are you consciously sculpting your reality, or are you letting habit and fear write it for you? The science is clear. Brain scans show that. Imagined rehearsals light up the same circuits as lived experiences. Athletes train victories in the mind before stepping on the field. Surgeons practice operations mentally before touching a scalpel. And in each case, the brain wires it as if it happened. You can do the same with your life. Visualize with intensity. Feel the emotions of the outcome as if now. The brain does. Not question whether it is memory or imagination. It simply builds the pattern, and the field begins to respond. But here is the urgency. Every day you delay, the old wiring deepens. Every week you postpone, the grooves of fear grow stronger. The more you wait, the heavier the program becomes. Change does not happen by accident. It happens by design. And the design is chosen in this very moment. So I call you into action, right here, right now. If you are ready to rewire your brain, type these words in the comments. I am rewiring. Write it so your body commits. Hit like now as a physical. Signal to lock this into your system. Let this moment be the new firing pattern that begins to wire your future. Do not underestimate the simplicity of this act. The brain respects repetition, not intention. One declaration today becomes two tomorrow. And soon, a neural bridge is built strong enough to carry you into a new identity. You are not stuck. You are not broken. You are programmable. And you hold the power to install the code. Begin now, because here is the next revelation. If your brain alone has this power, what happens when your brain and your heart align, firing and beating in coherence as one? What kind of signal would it broadcast to the field? What kind of miracles would be impossible to ignore? That is the secret waiting for you in the next step. When the heart and the brain move into coherence, you emit a signal so powerful that reality cannot ignore it. Let that truth sink into your chest. This is not poetry. This is not philosophy. This is science. Your brain may design the program, but your heart broadcasts the frequency. Together, they create a magnetic field that reaches beyond your body and begins to bend reality itself. Have you ever wondered why your intentions sometimes fail, even when you think the right thoughts? Why the affirmations feel hollow? Why the vision boards gather dust? It is because thought alone is not enough. Without the heart, your signal is weak. Without emotion, the blueprint stays two-dimensional. But when thought and heart lock into one rhythm, you create a current that the universe cannot resist. Joe Dispenza's research shows it clearly. The electromagnetic field of the heart is 5,000 times stronger than that of the brain. 5,000. Imagine trying to light a city with a candle versus a sun. That is the difference between thought without heart and thought infused with gratitude. So let me ask you directly, what state are you radiating right now? Anxiety, fear, doubt, or gratitude, love, wholeness, because your heart is always broadcasting. Whether you control it or not, it is sending out instructions to the field. This is where the mystery becomes power. Gratitude is not just polite manners. Gratitude is the emotional signature of abundance. When you breathe into your heart and truly feel thankful for a future that has not yet arrived, you send out the signal that it is already here. The field responds to that coherence. Opportunities align. Synchronicities unfold. Life organizes around the frequency of your heart. Consider the story of David, a doctor from California. He was struck by a severe accident that left his body broken and his future uncertain. Medical charts predicted a long, slow recovery at best. But David refused to let statistics write his destiny. Each day, he practiced heart meditation. He placed his attention in his chest. He imagined light expanding outward. He felt gratitude, not for what he had lost, but for the health that was already waiting in the field. Weeks passed. His recovery shocked his colleagues. Muscles healed faster than expected. Energy returned ahead of schedule. Pain dissolved where pain was supposed to linger. His case became a subject of study. What the charts could not measure was the power of a coherent heart, broadcasting health into his cells. Do you see it now? This is not magic. This is coherence. Your body is not a victim of chance. It is a receiver of the signal you emit. Change the signal and you change the reception. So what about you? How long will you let your heart send out frequencies of fear? How long will you allow old wounds to broadcast scarcity into the field? You have the power to choose a new signature right now. Breathe into your heart. Place your hand on your chest. Feel the beat. That rhythm is not just blood pumping. It is your personal transmitter. Train it with gratitude. Flood it with love. Align it with the vision you hold. And reality must adjust to match. This is urgent, because every day you postpone, your heart continues broadcasting the old story. Every day you ignore it, the field keeps reflecting the same patterns. Nothing changes until you change the frequency. So here is your call to action. Comment, right? Now these words, I am shining. Declare it so your nervous system hears you. Hit like to lock it in as a physical act. Simple movements build coherence. Small actions amplify the signal. Imagine your heart as a lighthouse on a stormy coast. Ships lost in the fog begin to adjust course because your light pierces the dark. That is what happens when you live in coherence. People, events, timing, they all start turning toward your frequency. Do not underestimate this moment. Your heart has the power to pull realities into alignment, but only if you train it. Only if you choose gratitude over fear. Only if you decide to become the signal instead of waiting for signs. And so I leave you with this pressing question. If your heart has this extraordinary power, what force could possibly prevent you from radiating it every single day? What hidden barrier keeps you from living in coherence all the time? The answer will reveal the shadows that hold you back. And once you see them, you can break them forever. Fear and procrastination are the forces holding you back. Face it. How many times have you felt the weight of an idea, the fire of a dream, only to smother it with hesitation? How many times have you delayed action until the moment passed, convincing yourself you would start tomorrow? And how many tomorrows have already died this way? Fear whispers in your mind, telling you that you are not ready. Procrastination drags at your body, promising comfort while stealing your future. These are not harmless habits. They are shadows that choke potential. And if you do not confront them, they will quietly design a life of regret. But here is the truth. Fear is not the end. It is the doorway. Procrastination is not weakness. It is a signal that you are standing at the edge of transformation. What you do in that moment decides everything. Science has shown us the way forward. Carol Dweck, the psychologist who pioneered the concept of growth mindset, proved it. A fixed mindset says I cannot. A growth mindset says I cannot yet. That single word yet changes failure into progress. It transforms walls into steps. This is more than theory. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, teaches us to interrupt the cycle, to catch the thought, to question it, to replace it. Instead of believing every fearful whisper, you begin to dismantle it with evidence. You install new mental software, and the brain rewires. But what does this look like in real life? Let me tell you the story of Linda, a student in Chicago. She had a dream to complete her thesis, but every time she sat down, fear paralyzed her. She told herself she was not ready, not smart enough, not prepared. Days became weeks. Deadlines loomed. Her future felt like it was slipping away. Then Linda tried something different. She broke the mountain into stones. She set a timer for 25 minutes, a technique known as the Pomodoro method. Just one focused sprint, then a pause, then another sprint. Each session chipped away at fear, and she used CBT to challenge the voice of doubt. When the thought said, "I cannot," she replied, "I cannot yet," and kept typing. Little by little, the pages grew. The paralysis faded. Her thesis took shape. And when the day came, she stood in front of her professors, defended her work, and passed with pride. What once felt impossible became inevitable because she faced fear and broke procrastination's grip. Do you see it? The shadows are not unbeatable. They crumble under consistent action. They dissolve under the light of awareness. But only if you choose to face them now. So let me ask you directly, what are you delaying? What vision are you hiding under the excuse of later? How many times will you let fear steal the years you cannot get back? This is not about perfection. It is about movement. The tiniest step forward creates momentum, and momentum crushes procrastination. Action is the antidote to fear. You cannot think your way out of hesitation. You must act your way through it. The clock is ticking. Every minute you delay, the old program strengthens. Every second you hesitate, the shadows grow thicker. Do not let them win. Declare your shift. Now, type these words in the comments. I am taking action. Write it so your hands and body join the decision. Hit like now to anchor it in your nervous system. Let this be the signal that you refuse to bow to fear any longer. Feel this moment. In your chest, you are not powerless. You are not broken. You are standing at the edge of your own evolution. Fear is not your enemy. It is your compass. Procrastination is not your identity. It is the test you must pass. So what comes after facing the shadows? Once you dismantle fear and break procrastination, what force carries you forward? What inner fire keeps you moving when the next obstacle appears? That question is the key to the next step. You need resilience, the ability to turn obstacles into fuel. Think about that for a moment. What if every setback you have faced was never meant to break you, but to build you? What if the very pain you feared was actually the fire that forges strength? And what if the only thing separating you from the life you crave is your decision to rise? One more time when everything inside you screams to quit. Resilience is not a gift handed to a chosen few. It is not a trait you either have or do not. Resilience is cultivated. It is shaped in the storm. It is born in the furnace of trials that demand you adapt, grow, and transform. Positive psychology has revealed this truth. Studies show that resilience is the single most powerful predictor of recovery, not just from emotional pain, but from physical trauma. People who develop resilience heal faster, rise stronger, and go further than those who surrender to despair. So let me ask you directly, when life knocked you down, what did you do? Did you let the ground become your prison? Or did you push against it to stand taller? Because every fall offers two choices, break or build, and only you decide which path you take. This is not abstract. Let me bring it to life with a story that will light your chest on fire. Mark, a rising athlete from Boston, had his future shattered by a brutal injury. Doctors told him his career was over. His dream collapsed overnight. The headlines could have been written right there. Another talent cut short. Another man defined by defeat. But Mark refused that script. Instead of drowning in loss, he looked at the pain and asked a different question. What can I do with this? How can this become my fuel? Day after day, he dragged himself into rehabilitation. Each stretch was agony. Each exercise felt impossible. But with every rep, every drop of sweat, every tear of frustration, he was teaching his body resilience. Weeks became months, muscles rebuilt, mind strengthened, and then the unthinkable. He returned to the field, not weaker, not broken, but sharper, hungrier, more dangerous than before. His story spread across Boston not as tragedy, but as testimony. Proof that resilience can resurrect dreams thought dead. And now, I turn the spotlight on you. How many times have you written yourself off after failure? How many times have you believed the voice that says it is over? Resilience is not about denying pain. It is about refusing to let pain define you. Every scar is a story of survival. Every obstacle is a forge. Every tear is water for the seed of strength. What if you looked at your challenges not as curses, but as the exact training you need to rise into the version of yourself you have been begging to become? Listen carefully. Life will not stop testing you, but you get to decide what those tests create: weakness or power, hopelessness or hunger, surrender or strength. Right now, you have a chance to declare who you are. If you have ever stood back up after falling, if you have ever fought through the weight of despair, if you are still breathing despite what tried to break you, then you are already resilient. Say it with me. Comment these words below. I am unbreakable. Write it. Declare it. Let your body hear your voice. Hit like right now to cement this truth in action. Do not underestimate this declaration. Small actions spark massive internal shifts. When you align thought, word, and action, your nervous system begins to encode resilience as identity. You stop seeing yourself as fragile and start living as unshakable. This is urgent, because the world will continue to throw storms your way. You cannot control the waves, but you can become the stormbreaker. You can become the one who does not bend, the one who refuses to vanish, the one who turns adversity into fuel. So feel it in your chest. Feel the fire that has always been there. Let every failure become a reminder that you are still standing. Let every obstacle become proof that you are unstoppable. And now, the question that will propel us forward. Once you have built this resilience, once you have proven you can rise, no matter how many times you fall, what deeper force keeps you aligned with this power? What strength ensures you do not just rise, but rise as your truest self? That answer is waiting for you next. The real power is authenticity, living true to your values. Stop and feel the weight of that. In a world obsessed with performance, with filters, with masks, what could be more radical than being unapologetically real? What could be more magnetic than someone who no longer bends to fit expectations, but chooses to stand in their truth? Ask yourself, how many times have you hidden pieces of who you are just to be accepted? How many times have you traded authenticity for approval, silence for belonging, imitation for safety? And what has it cost you? Because every compromise chips away at your power. Every mask you wear blocks the signal the universe is waiting for. Here is the truth. Authenticity is not weakness. Authenticity is alignment. In the quantum field, coherence is power, and nothing is more coherent than living in truth. When your thoughts, words, and actions line up with your values, you broadcast the clearest signal possible. That signal pulls opportunities, relationships, and breakthroughs into your orbit. Psychology proves it. Studies show that people who live authentically report higher levels of happiness, better mental health, stronger resilience. Why? Because pretending is exhausting. Because hiding drains your nervous system. Because authenticity is the natural state your body craves. So let me ask you directly, who are you when no one is watching? Who are you beneath the roles, the titles, the performances? And what would happen if you let that version of you take the lead? This is not theory. Let me tell you about Jessica, a creator in Los Angeles. She spent years chasing trends, mimicking what was popular, bending herself to fit algorithms. And it worked for a while. But inside, she felt empty. Each video felt like a costume. Each success felt hollow. One day, she made a choice. She stopped copying. She stopped filtering. She shared her real story. The struggles, the doubts, the quirks that once embarrassed her. And something unexpected happened. Her community exploded. Not because she was perfect, but because she was real. People do not connect with masks. They connect with humanity. Jessica's authenticity became her superpower. That is what happens when you live true to your values. You stop chasing attention. You start attracting resonance. The right people appear. The right opportunities flow. Life begins to rearrange itself around your truth. But here is the urgency. Every day you live out of alignment, you are paying a price. Stress increases. Joy decreases. Your signal weakens. You attract what does not belong to you because you are broadcasting what is not real. And the longer you do it, the more you forget who you actually are. So I call you to act right now. If you dare to live authentically, if you are ready to strip away the masks, type these words in the comments. I am myself. Write it so your body feels the commitment. Hit like right now as a declaration that you will no longer apologize for being you. Feel the power in that. You do not need to be louder. You do not need to be trendier. You need to be real. That is the rarest and most magnetic energy in a world drowning in imitation. This is your turning point. Will you continue to betray yourself for approval, or will you reclaim your voice, your values, your truth? The universe is not rewarding who you pretend to be. It is responding to who you truly are. And so, I leave you with this question. When you finally live as yourself, unapologetic and whole, what compass guides your steps? If you are no longer chasing approval, what inner force will lead you forward? The answer is waiting, and it will reveal the next layer of your power. When that moment arrives, intuition becomes the compass guiding you. Think about that. Beyond logic, beyond strategy, beyond the endless noise of opinions, there exists a voice inside you, a knowing that does not explain itself, but insists on being heard. Intuition is not random. It is not a mystical guess. It is the higher self speaking, your inner guidance pointing you toward the path meant for you. How many times have you ignored that whisper? How many times have you silenced the nudge in your chest, only to regret it later? And how many opportunities have slipped away because you trusted fear instead of inner wisdom? Science is beginning to catch up with what sages have always known. Psychology confirms that people who rely on inner guidance consistently make better long-term decisions. Not because they have more data, but because they tap into subconscious patterns, stored wisdom, and a deeper intelligence that logic alone cannot access. Intuition is not a luxury. It is survival. It is strategy. It is the ultimate navigation system. Let me give you a story that proves its power. Robert, an entrepreneur in Seattle, faced a decision that could make or break his company. Logic said one thing. Advisors urged caution. The numbers pointed to a safer path. But Robert felt a pull inside, a quiet voice telling him to leap. Against the odds, he followed his intuition. What happened next was history. That leap positioned his company in a new market. Growth exploded. Investors rushed in. Within years, his startup became a unicorn valued at billions. Looking back, Robert admitted he had no perfect data. What he had was trust in his inner compass. And that trust changed everything. So I ask you directly, what is your intuition whispering right now? What choice have you been delaying because logic tells you it is risky, while your soul tells you it is right? How many times will you betray that inner knowing before you realize it is the only voice that has never lied to you? This is urgent, because every time you silence intuition, you strengthen doubt. Every time you ignore the compass, you drift further from your path. Intuition is like a muscle. Use it and it grows stronger. Neglect it and it fades. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel the sensation in your chest, your gut, your body. The signal is there, subtle but undeniable. That is your higher self guiding you. That is your destiny calling in real time. Do not wait for perfect evidence. The mind will always ask for more proof. The universe rarely provides it. Intuition requires faith in your own inner voice. And once you follow it, synchronicities begin to unfold. Doors appear where there were only walls. People show up exactly when you need them. Timing aligns with precision no spreadsheet could ever predict. So here is your call to action. If you believe intuition is the line to destiny, declare it now. Type these words in the comments. I hear within. Write it so your body remembers. Hit like right now to anchor this declaration into your nervous system. Every action you take in alignment strengthens the compass inside you. Understand this. The world is filled with noise. Trends demand your attention. Opinions fight for your focus. Logic screams for safety, but intuition whispers. And only those who learn to listen will discover the path designed for them. You are not lost. You are not without guidance. The compass is already inside you, waiting, ready, pointing. The only question is, will you follow it? Feel the power of this moment. Intuition is not a tool you use once. It is the map you carry forever. When you honor it, you walk as if the path is unfolding beneath your feet. When you trust it, you live with a certainty that others mistake for luck. And so we arrive at the next step. Because once you learn to follow your intuition, once you align with your inner compass, a new question emerges. How do you share that wisdom? How do you transmit your story in a way that awakens the same truth in others? The answer is waiting in the art of storytelling. By telling stories that strike directly into the heart of others, that is how you awaken transformation. That is how you bypass walls of logic, cut through defenses of doubt, and deliver a message that cannot be ignored. Facts may inform, but stories transform. Let me ask you, when was the last time you remembered a statistic? And when was the last time you remembered a story? Science has the answer. Researchers at Stanford discovered that people are 22 times more likely to remember a story than raw data. 22 times. That means if you want to influence, to inspire, to ignite change, you must master the art of storytelling. But not just any story, a hypnotic story, a story crafted with precision, a story that hooks, holds, and heals. The structures are ancient: sparkline, monomyth, conflict, and resolution. These are not techniques invented yesterday. They are maps embedded. In the human nervous system, we are wired for story. We crave the arc. We long for the hero's journey because it mirrors our own. The spark line begins with the struggle. It shows the pain of the present. It contrasts the vision of what could be, and then it bridges the gap. That spark of contrast awakens hope. It ignites possibility. The monomyth, the hero's journey, is universal. A character leaves the ordinary world, faces trials, gains wisdom, and returns transformed. We follow it because it is us. Every challenge, every fall, every victory echoes the same arc. And conflict. Without conflict, there is no heartbeat. Number. Tension. No reason to care. A hypnotic story introduces a problem, stirs emotion, and then delivers release through resolution. That rhythm locks attention and drives memory deeper than any lecture ever could. Let me show you what this looks like in real life. Anna, a teacher from Florida, faced a classroom of disengaged students. Phones distracted them. Tests intimidated them. Nothing seemed to reach them. Facts slid off their minds like water off glass. One day, Anna tried something radical. She stopped teaching like a lecturer and started telling stories like a guide. Math problems became adventures. History lessons became epic journeys. Even grammar turned into characters with motives and struggles. The classroom transformed into a stage. The results were stunning. Students leaned in. They remembered more. Test scores climbed to record levels. Parents called in shock, wondering what had changed. It was not more data. It was not stricter rules. It was story. Anna unlocked the code that speaks to the heart before the mind. Do you see it? Storytelling is not entertainment. It is the oldest and most powerful form of influence. Kings, prophets, leaders, revolutionaries, they all use stories to shape worlds. And now, so can you. But here is the urgency. If you keep hiding your story, you silence your power. If you refuse to tell it, you rob others of the medicine only your journey carries. Because someone right now is waiting to hear the exact words only your experience can provide. So let me ask you directly. Do you want your story to ripple outward? To awaken someone else's courage? To ignite a fire that statistics never could? Then act now. Comment these words below. My story matters. Write it so your body feels the declaration. Hit like right now to lock this into your identity. Your story is not random. It is a gift. Feel the gravity of this. You are not just living a life. You are carrying a narrative that could become someone else's breakthrough. A story that could travel farther than you ever imagined. But only if you share it. Only if you speak it with courage. So here is the final question of this chapter. A story is powerful. A story is unforgettable. But a story only lives if it is heard. Only breathes if it is received. So I ask you, when does a story truly come alive? The answer will open the next doorway. Because community is more than belonging. It is accountability. It is expansion. It is the mirror that shows you not only who you are, but who you can become. Alone, you see fragments. Together, you see wholeness. This is urgent. The world will try to divide you, to isolate you, to make you believe you are alone. But that is the lie. The truth is waiting in connection. The truth is that community is the soil where your story takes root, grows branches, and bears fruit that feeds others. So feel this moment. You are not listening by accident. You are here because your story is meant to be heard, and your life is meant to be reflected in others. Step into the circle. Your place is already waiting. And so we arrive at the final question. If your story lives inside community, if your voice is amplified by connection, then what is the destination of this entire journey? Where does all of this, your consciousness, your resilience, your authenticity, your intuition, your story lead you? The answer is closer than you think. It leads you to this moment, the moment where you are no longer waiting, but becoming. Feel the intensity of that truth. Every lesson, every trial, every breakthrough has brought you here. Not tomorrow, not someday. Now, this is the moment of embodiment. The moment where you stop chasing and start living. The moment where you declare with certainty, I am becoming. Think back through the journey. Consciousness was revealed as the architect. Your brain and your heart became the tools. Fear and procrastination were exposed as shadows. Resilience lit the fire that carried you through. Authenticity gave you strength. Intuition guided your steps. Storytelling amplified your voice. Community gave your story life. And now, all threads weave together into this one decisive point. This is not theory. This is the blueprint of transformation. Consciousness designs. The brain rewires. The heart broadcasts. Fear is faced. Resilience is forged. Authenticity shines. Intuition guides. Storytelling connects. Community amplifies. And embodiment seals it all. But let me ask you, how long will you keep postponing your becoming? How long will you keep saying someday, while life begs you to choose today? Because waiting is the greatest illusion. The field does not respond to waiting. It responds to being. And right now, the question is not what you want. The question is, who are you being in this exact moment? Let me show you a story that proves the power of this moment. Megan, a woman from Denver, faced the brutal weight of a cancer diagnosis. Doctors gave her odds. Charts gave her timelines. But Megan decided to live from a different state. Every day, inside her online support group, she wrote the same words. I am becoming. Not I hope, not I wish. I am becoming. She spoke it until her body believed it. She typed it until her nervous system accepted it. And something extraordinary happened. Her recovery accelerated. Tests baffled her doctors. Energy returned. Health bloomed where statistics predicted decline. She embodied the version of herself and was whole, and her body caught up. Her story is not fantasy. It is the demonstration of embodiment. She stopped, waiting for evidence. She became the evidence, and life reorganized to match her. So now I turn to you. Will you continue to wait for signs, or will you choose to be the sign? Will you chase the future, or will you become the future? Because the mirror is ready, the field is listening, and this is your chance to declare. Here is your call to action. Comment right now these words. I am becoming. Do it not as a phrase, but as a vow, a contract with yourself, a declaration to the universe. Write it so your nervous system feels the decision. Hit like, save, and share this message with those you love, so they too can step into their becoming. Do not underestimate the power of this act. Action anchors identity. Every time you declare, every time you align thought with deed, you reinforce the new frequency, and the field responds. This is urgent, because the longer you wait, the deeper the old patterns dig in. The longer you hesitate, the more your future drifts. But when you decide now, when you embody now, the shift is immediate. So breathe into this moment. Feel your chest rise. Feel your heartbeat. This is not just biology. This is your personal transmitter. Every beat is broadcasting the signature of who you are being. Will you let it echo fear, or will you let it radiate embodiment? And as you stand here, at the edge of your own transformation, I remind you of this. You are not just a seeker. You are not just a dreamer. You are the architect, the builder, the broadcaster, the storyteller, the member of a tribe, and now the embodiment of all you once longed for. This is your hour. This is your chance. Choose it, live it, declare it. So once again, type it now. I am becoming. Anchor it. Feel it. Let it burn in your chest. And do not walk this road alone. Like, save, and share this message with your community, your family, your friends. Because together, we rise stronger. Together, we amplify. Together, we embody the future we were destined to live. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the next step of this journey. And let me thank you deeply for choosing this message out of millions. You are the reason this channel exists. You are the reason these words carry weight. Now it is your turn. Comment below. Declare. Commit. Because when you write it, when you say it, when you live it, miracles unfold. So I ask you one final question. Will you keep waiting, or will you become? The field is listening. The mirror is watching. And the choice is yours now.